Kenny Omega has resurfaced on the internet. He showed up to do an interview with Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful, and he talked about all kinds of cool things. This was a very good interview. Kenny didn't really hold back, you know. A lot of this interview was on the relationship with AEW and New Japan and how Kenny feels about New Japan. There was some fun stuff in there too about Will Ospreay. I feel like he was kind of they either have heat in real life or it's like a really like subtle inside rib to Will Ospreay. You know, they might be really close friends, or they're working an angle. Either way, he kind of buried Will Ospreay in this interview. I almost used that clip to be honest with you, but I thought this was a little bit more newsworthy because Kenny Omega had a lot to say about the Forbidden Door and how it came about. And him being a guy from New Japan and just the struggles that management have had just trying to work with each other, and where AEW wanted this to go from right from the very beginning, that they had this envision. Check out this clip of Kenny talking about it.
Then you come over and there these words that New Japan is upset about this. Did you think that this would realistically happen based on the reaction they gave you when you said that you were leaving?
I did actually. I knew that any sort of bad blood or ill will that maybe the suits had towards me, I knew that wasn't an opinion that was shared by the locker room, and I knew eventually, New Japan to get into a position to be as prominent as they were in the wrestling culture and in Japan, that was all because the wrestlers really kind of took control and made it. And made New Japan the wrestling promotion that they wanted themselves to become. So I knew that once the wrestlers took control again, and once it was less of an issue of myself and the current management, that we could get to a point where we were discussing, Forbidden Door or whatever the other possible name could have been. So I was glad that even though I left under a cloud, that we were able to bring things back to wrestlers talking productively with other wrestlers that wanted to do something really cool and change the landscape of wrestling. And, of course, there has been a management shift since I had left, and they were very much in line with that same vision. So it doesn't, if anything, the most surprising thing was that it took so long.
So you want to know what I really think? I think Kenny Omega is going to come back at Forbidden Door. I think that's where he's going to make his return. I think that's why he's resurfacing now. He said that he felt like it was important to get his name out there and kind of show face, be a face of the company and a speaker for this Forbidden Door project. And he's saying that he's doing the media to just be involved with it. But I think we've heard things have been very quiet on when we could expect Kenny Omega to come back. And after hearing this conversation and hearing him take shots at Will Ospreay a little bit, I'm kind of thinking that Kenny's on his way back in. Maybe not. Maybe we still got time to go. Either way, the things that he had to say about this whole New Japan AEW Forbidden Door gimmick, how it came about, and just everything that went into it. This was their idea from the very beginning. These were guys, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, even Cody at the time. These were guys that came from New Japan Pro Wrestling. They spent time there. They know what that was all about, and they respected it, and they wanted the opportunity. When they started AEW, they wanted to work together. They envisioned a world where AEW could work with other companies. Now they own Ring of Honor, so certainly that one's something that we're always going to see now. But that relationship with New Japan was hard to come by. The old management had a lot of beefs. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Kenny Omega left New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that the Young Bucks were gone from New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was a huge blow when that happened. Because they had just recently lost AJ Styles not that long before it, and Shinsuke Nakamura. They were just losing a lot of major talent all at once, and that was a huge blow to New Japan. And their management was fairly salty about it, and they didn't want to have anything to do with AEW for a long time, but with the new management in, and Kenny had kind of implied that now it's the wrestlers, now wrestlers are back in charge. So I don't know who's in the management position in New Japan. I don't know if they are former wrestlers. It sounds like everything's just kind of going between Rocky Romero and Ghetto and Tony Khan and probably the Bucks and Kenny too, I would imagine, are who's kind of putting this whole deal together at this point. And kind of all the bullshit corporate interests are being pushed out of it. And of course, there's going to be some politics to this still to an extent. I don't want my guy to lose or this, that, or the other thing. But really, honestly, just being able to pull this together was a fucking miracle. It really was. And, props to AEW and New Japan for partnering with each other and making this happen. And, Kenny Omega, in all of his work that went into it, being that bridge between New Japan and AEW, the guy that worked there, the guy that is friendly with all the talent there and all of that. So props to him. Props to AEW and New Japan for just making this happen and putting on a dope-ass event that I think will be fun to watch. So looking forward to seeing that even after all the injuries kind of fucking just snake bit the whole card, right? It'll still be a bunch of good wrestling, so that'll be cool. And it'll be dope to see the return of Kenny fucking Omega. Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Ooh yeah. Dig it!